Listen to me. Listen with everything in you. Not later, not halfway, not distracted. If you are going to do what the world calls impossible, you must begin by doing what most men never do. You must listen with full attention. You cannot drift through this and expect power to follow. The impossible will never yield to the passive. You're about to be handed a method, one that has been used by men who turned the world upside down. But if you treat these words as entertainment, they will pass through you like smoke, and nothing will change. You will return to the world unchanged, and that is not why you are here. You are here because something in you refuses to accept limitation. This is not motivation. This is not flattery. This is instruction, divine instruction. And I will give it to you only if you listen, not casually, but with decision. For if you drift through this message the way you drift through your days, you will leave here no better, no wiser, no stronger, and the world will say they were right, you failed. But if you listen, if you truly listen, you will never again be the same man. You will walk different, speak different, decide different, and act with a boldness the timid cannot comprehend. For the words I speak come from the same laws that built empires and shattered limits. They are the same truths that men like Edison, Carnegie, Lincoln, and Ford used to silence the world's doubt. You must understand, every great thing ever built was once considered madness. Every advance, every empire, every invention, every revolution was once called impossible. And it was achieved not by ordinary men, but by men who listened, believed, and obeyed. They did not seek approval. They did not ask for permission. They did not drift, and neither will you. So I say again, listen, do not skip, do not wander, do not check the time. This is not something to play in the background. This is the blueprint to do what others say cannot be done, and you will not grasp it unless you listen with stillness, with fire, and with purpose. If you leave now, you will not be changed. You will return to the world, and the world will swallow you whole. But if you stay, if you give me your full attention, I will show you how to rise above their limits, silence their doubts, and achieve what they said no man could do. This is the moment. Listen now. Listen with urgency. For the impossible does not yield to the man who is casual. It yields only to the man who is committed. That man is you, if you listen. If you are going to do the impossible, you cannot think like the average man. You must not drift. You must not delay. You must not doubt. You must not wait for conditions to be perfect. You must begin with an iron will, and you must march forward through every obstacle with decision, with definiteness, and with faith that does not bow. Impossible is not a fact. It is a judgment. It is a label placed by small minds on great visions. It is the word used by those who never dared, to warn those who might. But I say this to you. There is no such thing as impossible to the man who knows what he wants and is willing to pay the price to get it. The world will always laugh at what it does not understand. It laughed at the Wright brothers. It mocked Edison. It questioned Ford. But those men did not yield. They did not argue. They did not drift. They kept moving toward their purpose until the laughter turned to applause, and the ridicule became reverence. Edison was told it could not be done, artificial light, a stable electric lamp. He failed over 10,000 times, but he refused to listen. He refused to drift. He knew in his mind that it was possible, and so it became real. He held the picture. He held the belief. He held the course. And in time, reality conformed to his vision. Carnegie dreamed of an empire forged from steel when others saw only coal, sweat, and labor. They said he was a fool. They said it was too big, too bold, too unlikely. But he knew his purpose. He visualized his aim. He backed it with belief. And he surrounded himself with men who believed with him. And what began as impossible became a billion-dollar truth. You are not here to repeat what has been done. You are not here to chase shadows or imitate others. You are here to extend the frontier of what is possible. You are here to prove to the world and to yourself that the limits placed upon you are lies. You are here to build something that the world must reckon with. To do that, you must begin with a burning desire, not a wish, not a hope, not a passing interest, but a desire so strong it becomes obsession, a desire that takes hold of your heart and demands to be fed with thought, with faith, with action, with sacrifice. For it is written, "Desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible." That is not poetry. That is law. When desire becomes the dominant force in your consciousness, it drives all things before it. It bends conditions. It repels failure. It attracts ideas, people, circumstances, and strength from places you have not yet seen. But do not think this will come easily. Do not believe you can achieve the impossible while thinking like the ordinary. Impossible goals demand higher levels of concentration, purpose, emotional control, and spiritual resolve. You must become a new man. You must burn away the old habits and build in yourself a new identity, one forged in thought, belief, and iron persistence. And you must listen, not for amusement, but for transformation. You must listen as if your entire future depends on these words, because it does. One missed sentence can cost you years. One overlooked truth can delay your breakthrough. If you are serious about doing what they said could not be done, you must listen with the intent to obey. So I say this to you now. Begin this journey by refusing to entertain any idea of defeat, no matter what they say, no matter what your fear whispers, no matter what your past tells you. You are not your history. You are not their opinions. You are not your environment. You are what you decide to become from this moment forward. You are the one who has been chosen to show the world that the impossible is not a boundary, it is a starting point. You are the one who will take the ridicule, the silence, the rejection, and convert it into power, into proof, into results. Not because they believe in you, but because you believe in you. Say this aloud. What they call impossible, I call my duty. What they reject, I claim. What they fear, I pursue. I am chosen to do what others dare not. Let that be your creed. Let that be the drum that marches you forward. Let that sentence become a spiritual sword that cuts down every doubt. You are not here to participate in mediocrity. You are here to create what has never been done. If you aim to do what has never been done, you cannot scatter your force. You must concentrate every ounce of power into one direction. The man who would achieve the impossible must never drift. He must be definite. He must know what he wants, why he wants it, and be willing to give all he has in exchange for it. Drifting is the slow death of great men. It is the habit of the untrained mind, the passive soul, and the weak will. Drifting shows itself when you change your aim with the weather, when you seek the approval of the crowd, when you delay decisions and dilute your focus with 1,000 small wants. But the man with a definite chief aim is immune to these traps. No man ever climbed a mountain while looking at 10 hills. No man ever became great by pursuing 5 small aims. To do what others call impossible, you must walk a narrow path, and that path demands your complete allegiance. You must not dabble. You must not divide. You must burn every bridge behind you and walk only toward the goal that sets your soul on fire. Write down your definite chief aim. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now write it clearly. Make it specific. Let it carry emotional weight. This is not a task for the casual mind. It is a declaration of war against mediocrity. You are saying to life, this is what I demand. This is what I will become. This is what I will create. And once it is written, it must be seen. Place it where your eyes meet it every day, morning and night. Let it become the compass that corrects your direction. Let it speak to you when your energy fades. Let it cut through the fog of distraction. That aim must dominate your waking thoughts and govern your sleep. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot pursue greatness and entertain weakness. Your mind, your hands, your time, your habits, your conversations, your environments, all must bend to this one definite purpose. When you move through life with this kind of focus, the impossible begins to yield. Circumstances adjust. People respond. Resources align. Let us study Carnegie. He did not pursue 100 things. His early, definite chief aim was to control the steel industry. He saw it clearly. He believed in its power. He knew the fortune it held. And because he was definite, because he burned every other option, he attracted men like Schwab and Frick, who helped build his empire. Definiteness drew resources. Carnegie's definiteness also attracted respect. Men trust those who know what they want. The world yields to the unwavering, but it ignores the uncertain. If you cannot decide, you cannot lead. If you cannot lead, you cannot build. And if you cannot build, you will never rise above the noise of the mediocre. Do not think the universe responds to confusion. The subconscious mind cannot act upon vague desires. Infinite intelligence will not assist a man who is uncertain. The law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, these are precision laws, and they obey definiteness. Every day you go without declaring your chief aim is a day you lose power. Every hour you spend drifting is a seed of failure planted. The world has enough men who wish, who dabble, who entertain ideas without committing, but few dare to say, "This is what I will become, and nothing shall turn me aside." So I command you, repeat your chief aim aloud, not once, not weekly, but daily. In the morning when you rise, at night before you sleep. Say it with emotion. Say it with conviction. Say it until every cell of your being believes. Say it until the world itself begins to bend in your favor. There is no mystery in success. There is only law. And the law says, whatever you hold in your mind with clarity and emotional belief and pursue with definite action, you shall have. You are not exempt from this, but neither are you entitled without obedience. You must pay the price. I say again, no man achieves the impossible while trying to achieve 5 things at once. Choose one aim, the one that burns, the one that demands your attention, the one that causes fear and excitement at the same time. That is the aim worthy of your life. Once you choose it, you serve it. Your conversations begin to align with it. Your planning aligns with it. Your daily hours are organized in support of it. Your distractions are removed. Your excuses are killed. Your very identity is shaped by your aim. You do not drift anymore. You do not wait for signs. You do not ask for permission. You begin to move, and the world notices. Opportunities begin to emerge, not because of chance, but because your definiteness has made you a beacon. You begin to magnetize. But I must warn you, without this discipline, your aim will vanish. It will fade into fog, and the world will say they were right. You failed. They will call you crazy, then they will call you lost. Not because your aim was too high, but because your dedication was too weak. That is the great crime. Not that you aimed too high, but that you served your aim too little. If you are going to defy the world and do what they say cannot be done, you must live by one law, definiteness of purpose. And that law must show in your speech, in your actions, in your thoughts, and in your very presence. Say this aloud with me. I know my aim. I serve it only. I walk toward it daily. I do not drift. I do not doubt. I become the man worthy of impossible success. Let those words become your code. Let them shape your day, your decisions, and your destiny. You are not here to be ordinary. You are here to command results that the world called impossible. You must understand this one thing if you ever intend to defy the limits of man. No one achieves the impossible without being first called insane. The world does not believe until it sees results. And by the time results appear, faith is no longer needed. So if you are to accomplish what they say cannot be done, you must begin in the dark, with faith as your only light. Faith is not a mood. Faith is not a gift. Faith is not the privilege of the few. It is a state of mind that you build. Faith is constructed brick by brick, through repetition of thought, repetition of speech, and repetition of action. It is formed when you command your subconscious, again and again, to believe what your eyes cannot yet see. Faith is the foundation of all transformation. It is the evidence of things unseen. It is the substance of all results that begin in the invisible. You must treat faith not as a feeling, but as a discipline. You do not wait for it to rise. You summon it. You create it. You construct it by what you say, what you see, and what you allow to take root in your mind. Let me give you an example. Henry Ford had a vision that the world laughed at. He wanted to build a motor car for the masses. He was told it was foolish. Then he demanded that his engineers build an 8-cylinder engine in one block. They said it could not be done. Ford said, "Do it anyway." They tried and failed. He said, "Try again." They failed again. He said, "Keep going until you succeed." And eventually, they did. That was not technology. It was faith. It was belief in his vision when every so-called expert said it was impossible. It was his refusal to accept defeat, and that faith became mastery. What began as madness became the future of industry, and the man who was ridiculed became one of the wealthiest and most influential men of his generation. Now you must build your faith the same way, through autosuggestion. Speak aloud what you choose to believe until belief becomes law in your subconscious mind. Speak it when you feel weak. Speak it when you feel strong. Speak it when no one is listening. Speak it when the world laughs. Say it until the very cells of your body rise up in agreement. This is why I gave you the self-confidence formula in Think and Grow Rich. Not as inspiration, but as instruction. It must be memorized. It must be declared. It must be obeyed. For through repetition, your inner world changes, and once the inner world changes, the outer world cannot help but follow. Faith must become an identity. It must become the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you decide. It must show up in your tone, in your presence, in your steps. It must radiate from you so strongly that others begin to believe in what they once mocked, because you believe it with such force. But let me warn you, the minute you stop affirming, doubt will rise. And doubt, like rust, eats through every layer of power. Doubt creeps in quietly, with a whisper, a question, a delay. And if you do not answer it with faith, it will take root. And once it does, it spreads. And it kills dreams from the inside out. Look to Abraham Lincoln. He faced defeat after defeat. He was mocked. He was doubted. He failed in business. He lost elections. He buried children. But he held a belief that his life had purpose, that his voice mattered, that he would serve a great mission. And he never let go of that belief. He became president. He shaped a nation, and his faith outlived his flesh. Faith creates magnetic confidence, and that confidence bends circumstance. It changes how you move through the world, and the world responds. When you believe with clarity and emotion and act accordingly, the doors begin to open, not because the world changed, but because you did. So I give you this command. Speak faith into your soul until it becomes louder than your fear. Then act on it without apology. Let your steps be bold. Let your decisions be final. Let your aim govern your speech. Let your mind accept no argument against your dream. Say this aloud now. I believe in my aim. I believe in myself. I believe in the power of thought backed by faith. I do not wait. I decide and I do. Let those words be your weapon. Let them rise up when doubt knocks at your door. Let them silence the voices of limitation. Let them direct your hands, your hours, and your identity. For you are not a drifter. You are not a wanderer. You are not a man of maybe. You are a man of faith. and faith is the root of all mastery. You will not do the impossible if you give your attention to the ordinary. You will not rise above men while walking beside those who scoff at ambition, and you will not reach your purpose while listening to the babble of those who have none. If you desire to accomplish what others say cannot be done, then you must guard your mind like a fortress. Every word you hear, every voice you entertain, every doubt you tolerate, it enters your subconscious, and it roots. And what takes root grows. This is not theory, it is law. If you water weeds, they multiply. And if you permit doubt to speak, it will become your belief. And belief becomes your reality. You cannot climb the mountain while listening to those who never left the valley. The voices of critics are not proof. They are poison. And if you do not silence them, they will paralyze you. They will rob your belief, distort your vision, and laugh while you fall. So I say to you now, cut them off. Controlled attention is a spiritual law. The mind obeys what you give it repeatedly. It cannot hold faith and fear at the same time. One must starve, one must die. And it is your daily discipline that decides which survives. Either your purpose rules you or your distractions do. You must starve the doubters. You must refuse the company of the aimless. You must shut the door to every opinion not aligned with your purpose. Do not argue with small minds. Do not explain your vision to those who cannot see. Do not seek approval from those who fear to act. They will only infect your thinking. Whatever enters often enough will take root, even if it's a lie, even if it's poison, even if it's weakness wrapped in good manners. The subconscious accepts repeated input without judgment. It does not ask, "Is this true?" It only asks, "Have I heard this enough?" And when the answer is yes, it obeys. That is why the drifter listens to everyone and accomplishes nothing. Edison worked 18-hour days while others mocked his persistence. He refused distraction. He refused debate. He refused to even acknowledge the voices that said it could not be done. Why? Because he knew that if he listened to them, he would become them. And that was a price he would not pay. You must adopt the same attitude. Do not explain. Do not justify. Build your power in silence and let your results speak for you. The man of definiteness does not argue. He executes. He listens only to the voices that elevate him. He speaks only what reinforces his aim. And he walks with a stillness born of faith. If a man speaks fear to you, silence him. If a friend jokes about your ambition, distance him. If your environment pulls you away from your purpose, leave it. Nothing is neutral. Everything either builds you or breaks you. And if you do not choose your environment, it will choose you and make you like itself. You need sacred solitude. You need daily reading. You need space to reflect, to affirm, to correct. The impossible is not achieved in noise. It is forged in stillness, in focus, in discipline. You must be able to sit alone with your aim and feed it with thought, belief, and clarity, daily. Every morning before the world interrupts you, you must speak your purpose aloud. Every night before the subconscious takes over, you must feed it one last instruction. You must surround yourself with books, with voices, with messages that build you. Nothing else is permitted, not if you are serious. Let me give you this command. If it weakens your faith, it must be silenced. If it strengthens your aim, it must be repeated. If it does not align with your chief aim, it is an enemy, no matter how polite it seems. You are not just building results, you are building belief. And belief is not strengthened by theory. It is reinforced by repetition, by action, and by environment. If you surround yourself with the careless, you will become careless. If you dine with doubters, you will dine on doubt. But if you walk only with the purposeful, you will become unstoppable. Say this aloud. I reject every voice but the one that pushes me forward. I am immune to distraction. I am blind to failure. I hear only purpose. Let this affirmation become your sword. Use it to cut through the noise. Use it to reset your focus. Use it when the world pulls at you with its countless diversions. You are not here to blend in. You are here to rise above, to do what they said could not be done. And you will not do it by listening to the weak. You will not do it by arguing with fools. You will do it by focusing your entire mind, your entire day, on the only voice that matters, the voice of purpose. The impossible is not overcome by chance. It is conquered through design. A man does not rise above the ordinary by accident. He rises through organized planning, through mental blueprints laid out with intention and followed with unwavering will. The man who would do the impossible must live by a written plan and act on it daily. Faith without a plan is a fantasy. Dreams without direction are the tools of drifters. To bring into reality what others call impossible, you must know where you are going, how you intend to arrive, and what you are willing to sacrifice to get there. The mind becomes powerful only when it gives the subconscious a clear and definite pattern to obey. I tell you this, the subconscious mind is a worker. It is obedient. It is relentless. But it cannot serve two aims, and it cannot serve an unclear aim. It must be instructed daily with clarity, and it must be reinforced with organized steps that align with the aim you hold. This is why planning is not a suggestion. It is law. You must begin the habit of nightly planning. Before the day ends, take 10 minutes to review your definite purpose and write the precise actions you will take the next day. This gives your mind a target while you sleep. It impresses the desire on the subconscious while it is most open. It sends instructions to infinite intelligence to begin assembling opportunities. You do not go to sleep like the common man. You go to sleep with a mission assigned. You rise with action prepared. You begin your morning with movement, not confusion. And that single discipline alone will place you in the top 1% of men within a year. Let us look to Charles M. Schwab. He rose from the mill floor to become one of the greatest men of steel. He did not wander. He did not hope. He planned. He met daily with Carnegie. He reviewed objectives, adjusted routes, and moved with deliberate intensity. Every hour served a purpose. Every decision traced back to the definite chief aim of growth and dominance. He did not cling to rigid methods. He adapted quickly, but his aim never changed. His steps may have varied, but they always pointed in the same direction. That is organized planning. That is how power is built. That is how great men become greater than their time. Your subconscious will reward you when it sees that you are committed, but it will remain dormant if you drift, delay, or wander. So I tell you now, do not let a day pass without knowing exactly what steps bring you closer to your mountain. Do not end a night without knowing what the next day will demand of you. And do not confuse movement with progress. Activity is not achievement. Your plan must be measured. Your actions must be recorded. Your time must be tracked. For what you do not measure, you do not improve. And the man who does not improve daily will never overcome the impossible. The invisible forces of life respond to the man who moves. You do not wait for the path to be clear. You begin, you step forward, and each step makes the path appear. That is faith. That is power. That is the difference between the one who tries and the one who becomes. But I must warn you, confused plans attract confused results. The man who wakes up and decides as he goes will always serve the man who planned the day before. If you cannot discipline your schedule, you cannot command your life. And if you cannot command your life, the impossible will forever remain out of reach. Write your plan, speak your aim, review your day, adjust your steps, correct what fails, accelerate what works. Let your life become a machine of purpose, powered by belief, guided by thought, and driven by action. Say this with me now. I act while others think. I plan while others sleep. I correct while others complain. I attract results through movement. Do not write this merely on paper. Write it in your mind. Write it in your hours. Let it govern your behavior. Let it rule your thinking. Let it shape your character. You are no longer the man who hopes. You are the man who executes. Planning is not a burden. It is freedom. It gives your mind peace. It gives your hands direction. It gives your day meaning. Without it, the hours slip through your fingers, and the dream dies in delay. But with it, everything changes. Your movements begin to attract opportunity. Your thinking becomes sharp. Your results compound. And in time, what was once invisible to others becomes inevitable for you. So I say again, make planning a ritual, make action a law, make daily correction your shield. The impossible bows only to the man who moves with purpose, and that purpose must be written, reviewed, adjusted, and obeyed. No man ever accomplished the impossible by giving only a piece of himself. The man who attempts to rise above limitation, to do what has never been done, must give everything. He must live it, breathe it, walk it, speak it, dress it, and surround himself with it. There is no such thing as part-time transformation. The impossible demands your whole self. You must become the living embodiment of your definite chief aim. You must not merely think success, you must be success. You must not merely repeat faith, you must radiate faith. You must not merely plan your days, you must command your days. The man who does this becomes a force. He becomes magnetic, and the world cannot help but yield. You must understand Law of Cosmic Habitforce. It is the silent force that governs your life, the invisible hand that shapes your results. Every repeated thought becomes belief. Every repeated action becomes identity. You are not merely practicing success, you are becoming it. If you allow old habits to linger, you will remain the man they expect you to be. If you keep company with those who mock your goal, you will begin to doubt your own power. If you continue to speak the language of weakness, you will think in weakness, and the impossible will drift further away. Every act, every thought, every word, and every association must reflect the man you are becoming, not the man you were. You are not here to carry old patterns into a new future. You are here to build a new identity that can contain the magnitude of your aim. John D. Rockefeller began transforming himself long before the world saw his wealth. He changed the way he dressed, the way he carried himself, the tone of his voice, the posture of his back. He acted as the man he intended to become. And in time, life matched the image. For the world must conform to the man who refuses to conform to it. So I command you, dress for your outcome. Speak for your outcome. Think as the man who has already achieved the result. Not in fantasy, but in conviction. You are not pretending. You are becoming. And your outer world will adjust only after your inner world believes it without apology. This is not deception. This is alignment. You are instructing your mind, your environment, your relationships, and your very energy to reflect your purpose. This is how men rise. They do not wait for evidence. They live the evidence before it exists. They become the man worthy of their goal. You must master emotional control. You must speak with definiteness. You must hold yourself to a higher standard. You do not gossip. You do not complain. You do not waste hours in idle pleasure. Why? Because your aim demands more. And your time is now a sacred currency. Part-time belief will produce part-time results. Casual commitment will give you a casual life. But full allegiance, total dedication, that is what bends the impossible. That is what lifts the man from obscurity into greatness. That is what the world cannot ignore. The world does not respond to effort. It responds to identity. You must become the man who belongs at the summit. And that becoming begins today, not next week, not after the fear fades. Now, with each action, with each decision, with each word you allow or refuse. Command yourself daily, in thought, in word, in behavior, in association. If anything you do contradicts the image of the man you seek to become, it must be removed. No negotiation, no explanation, just obedience to purpose. Say this with me. I am the man my goal demands. I dress, walk, speak, and act as the finished result. I do not return to old ways. I ascend daily. Let these words ring louder than any excuse. Let them silence every lazy impulse. Let them rebuke every temptation to settle. You are not who you used to be. You are who you decide to be. And today, you decide to be unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable. You must not let comfort seduce you. You must not let routine lower your standard. And you must not let the opinions of those who do not dream determine the course of your destiny. This is your life. This is your purpose. And you will not be denied. Not if you give all of you. Let every hour be sacred. Let every day be deliberate. Let every action become proof. You are not asking for permission. You are not seeking applause. You are building power. And that power must be felt in your walk, your voice, your focus, and your faith. You are doing what they called impossible. That means you must become a man they've never seen. Not later, now. The man who chooses the impossible must also choose the pain that comes with it. Let there be no illusions. The path to greatness is marked with hardship. You will face delay. You will meet rejection. You will walk alone. You will be tired, misunderstood, doubted, and ridiculed. But this is not punishment. It is preparation. Pain is the test. Pain is the proving ground. Pain is the fire that burns away the weak parts of you. The fear, the ego, the indecision, the noise. Without it, you remain soft. Without it, you remain ordinary. Without it, you cannot build the strength that your impossible aim requires. So I say this now, and I say it with authority. Use the pain. Do not curse it. Do not hide from it. Do not waste it. Convert it into fuel. Let it sharpen your thoughts, strengthen your aim, and harden your resolve. Let every difficulty push you deeper into discipline. Let every delay drive you further into belief. Abraham Lincoln was no stranger to loss. He failed in business. He failed in elections. He buried loved ones. He carried grief that would have crushed weaker men. But he pressed on. He refined his purpose. He refused to be broken. And through pain, he became the man that history could not forget. The man who interprets pain as failure quits. The man who interprets pain as evidence, as proof that he is in the right arena, continues. He does not collapse. He calculates. He does not beg for ease. He builds endurance. And when others fall, he still stands, because he has learned to turn pain into power. You must build this habit. You must train your mind to ask, what is this pain teaching me? Not, why is this happening to me? You must see adversity not as a signal to stop, but as an invitation to grow. Every challenge says to you, prove that you are worthy of the impossible. You will be tired. You will be betrayed. You will be tempted to turn back. But this is the cost. This is the path. There are no shortcuts. There are no exceptions. The man who has a burning desire, backed by faith and reinforced by daily discipline, he expects the pain, and he overcomes it. Let me be clear. Pain does not mean you are failing. It means you are becoming. It means the old you is dying. It means the muscles of your character are being torn so they may be rebuilt stronger. It means you are walking in alignment with a goal so high it demands transformation. Rockefeller was ridiculed. Carnegie was attacked. Edison was dismissed. Ford was sued. Every man who did the impossible bore wounds that the world never saw. And still, they moved forward. Not because they liked the pain, but because they refused to surrender to it. You must make the same decision. You must choose to suffer with purpose rather than live in safety with regret. You must choose to continue when it would be easier to complain. You must choose to rise when it would be simpler to sleep. And I will tell you the secret. Every time you push through pain, your belief grows. Every time you move forward when it hurts, your confidence expands. Every time you act with courage in the face of fatigue, you are sending a signal to your subconscious. This man does not quit. Say this aloud now. My pain is fuel. My delay is proof. My burden is training. I persist where others fold. I continue until the impossible bows to me. Let those words become your shield. Speak them when your legs are heavy. Speak them when your eyes are tired. Speak them when the world is silent. For the man who speaks belief in the furnace of pain is the man who emerges with power that cannot be taken. Do not complain. Do not explain. Do not apologize for wanting more. Use the pain. Use it to build. Use it to concentrate. Use it to affirm. Use it to remind yourself you are not ordinary. You are not drifting. You are on a mission that fear cannot understand. This is your test. And you will pass it, not because it is easy, but because you are decided. Because your aim is definite, because your belief is built, because your discipline is stronger than your emotions, and because you are no longer the man who folds when fire comes. You are the man who endures it, who uses it, who conquers it. This is the hour. You have listened. You have been warned, instructed, and challenged. You have been handed the laws of achievement, the very principles by which men have turned dirt into kingdoms, visions into fortunes, and impossibility into fact. And now the time has come, not to admire the truth, not to repeat the truth, but to obey it, to act on it, to claim what they said you could not have. You must understand, the world is not going to congratulate you for dreaming. It will not cheer for you because you listened to this once. The world responds only to results, and results are the children of decision, belief, repetition, and action. You cannot stop here. You must begin here. This is not the end of a speech. It is the start of a new self. You now know more than most men ever will. You have received the blueprint. You have received the fire. You have heard the challenge. But knowledge without use is dust. You must not become another man who listens, nods, and drifts back into his old identity. You must not become another man who flirts with greatness, but marries mediocrity. Ask yourself right now, have I written down my definite chief aim? Have I repeated it morning and night, with feeling, with purpose, with persistence? Have I removed distractions, changed my environment, silenced the voices of doubt? Have I acted every day with decision? Have I planned, corrected, and moved with faith? If you have not done these things, go back. Do not move on. Go back, listen again, read again, write again, speak again, begin again. For repetition is the builder of identity. It is the only way to install belief so deeply that no external circumstance can shake it. You must burn these principles into your consciousness through exposure, expression, and execution. This is not entertainment. This is not something to play once while distracted. This is your manual for greatness. You must revisit it. Daily, if necessary, you must rise early and fill your mind with these truths before the world fills it with noise. You must train your subconscious mind like a soldier through order, command, and repetition. If you listen only once, the world will swallow what you heard. But if you listen daily, the world will have no choice but to yield to what you become. That is the law. The mind accepts what it hears most, and what it accepts, it believes, and what it believes, it attracts, and what it attracts, it becomes. Let us return to those men who lived these laws. Elbert Hubbard wrote works that outlived him because he lived what he wrote. He was not a man of theory. He was a man of practice. His words had power because his life had decision. He believed without evidence. He acted without applause. And today his principles still move men. That is the legacy of one who did what others feared. You now have the same law, the same words, the same power. But the law is neutral. It will work for you or it will work against you, depending on how you use it. If you feed it weakness, it will reward you with failure. If you feed it belief, it will reward you with victory. The law is always at work. The only question is, what are you commanding it to bring you? So I challenge you now. Do not go back to the man you were. He did not serve you. He doubted. He delayed. He listened to the wrong voices. He drifted. Let him die. Bury him with silence. And rise up now as the man your dream demands, a man of thought, a man of faith, a man of planning, a man of action, a man of identity. This life is not a rehearsal. One day your heart will stop. One day your hands will fail to rise. One day your voice will fall silent. And when that day comes, the only question will be, did you do what you were called to do? Did you obey your purpose? Did you defy their limitations? Did you achieve what they said could not be done? Let it not be said that you almost changed. Let it not be said that you had the truth and ignored it. Let it be said that you listened, decided, and acted. Let it be said that you became one of the few who lived by law, not by chance. Let it be said that you did the impossible because you refused to accept anything less. You must say this aloud now, not as a mantra, but as a vow. I do what they called impossible. I live what others only speak. I begin now. I decide now. I command success with thought, faith, and daily motion. Let those words be the wall between your old life and the one you now build. Let them be the fire that consumes every excuse. Let them be the banner you raise as you walk into the unknown with unshakable belief. You must review this message often, not for emotion, but for installation. You must program your mind until your belief becomes instinct, until your action becomes automatic, until your identity becomes indestructible. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. And now you must prove it, not with words, not with emotion, but with decision and discipline. Listen again and again until you no longer recognize the man you used to be. Let us now begin.